The day I decided to sell our car, the dealership owner looked at me with confusion. "Miss, this car is in excellent condition, and you're asking well below market value. Why are you in such a hurry to sell it?" I rested my fingertips on the edge of the car and answered calmly, "Because of a seat memory setting. Yesterday, I had a 102-degree fever. Every muscle in my body ached, and I barely had the strength to move. After work, I climbed into the passenger seat and instinctively reached for the recline switch so I could lean back and rest for a while. The moment my fingers touched the button, Chester Young grabbed my wrist. "Don't." He frowned. "That seat memory is saved for Linnea. Ever since you messed it up last time, her back hurt for days. She could barely walk." He reached over and pressed the memory button on the side of the seat, making sure it was still in the correct position. Only then did his tone soften. "Linnea has a bad back. You're her best friend. How could you be so inconsiderate?" I looked at his profile and suddenly found the whole thing absurd. Chester and I had been together for 6 years. For all 6 of those years, I had sat in that passenger seat. Not once had he ever saved a seat memory just for me. But he had saved one just for my best friend. I did not argue. I opened the door, got out, and climbed into the back seat instead. Chester glanced at me through the rearview mirror, assuming I was just throwing a tantrum. He shook his head helplessly and did not bother trying to comfort me. Leaning against the back seat window, I looked down as a notification popped up on my phone. "Your reservation for next week's engagement party venue has been successfully canceled." As for the ride named Chester Young, this was where I got off. The passenger seat was never mine. The car stopped in front of my apartment building and the rain still had not let up. Chester held an umbrella over me as he walked me to the entrance. I had just leaned against the wall to catch my breath when he suddenly stopped. "You go on upstairs. I need to grab something from the car." I turned around and watched him dash straight into the rain. He opened the passenger door, pressed the seat memory button twice, then checked the angle of the backrest with his hand. He even bent down to make sure the seat had slid back to the exact same position as before. Only when he was certain everything was perfectly unchanged did he close the door. Rain soaked one side of his shoulder, but he did not seem to care. Standing in the hallway, I felt my heart turn cold. It was not that he was incapable of being thoughtful. That thoughtfulness had just never been meant for me. The moment I collapsed onto the couch, my phone chimed with a notification that my car loan payment of $574 had been deducted automatically. The money had come out of my payroll account. I had paid 70% of the down payment for the car. He had covered the other 30%. The loan was under my credit and the payments were linked to my bank account. Back then, he had promised to send me the money every month. He even used to label the transfers as monthly payment for our car. Eventually, the transfers stopped. Sometimes, he remembered and sent me a couple $dozen. Most of the time, he conveniently forgot. I had never kept score. I always figured we were going to get married eventually. Splitting every expense so clearly felt too distant. Looking back, I could only laugh at myself. I was the one paying for the car. Yet the passenger seat had become someone else's reserved spot. I opened the car's companion app on my phone. The most frequently used destination was Linnea Quinn's yoga studio. The second was her apartment. My office came in third. Looking through the navigation history from the past 3 months, more than half the trips had been detours to pick her up. Suddenly, I remembered how often he'd said, "It's on my way," over the past 6 months. Picking Linnea up for class was on his way. Driving her home was on his way.